Hello, everybody. Welcome to another one of our Q&A sessions. I'm so glad to be here with you. You know, it's been a while since I introduced myself. So my name is Michelle Leotta, and I have been a practicing health coach for 12 years and counting. I'm also a mentor for all of you and the host of the Health Coach Power Community. So thank you for joining me. Today, we are talking all about tech tools because I've been getting so many questions about tech tools lately, and I want to be able to help you decide what you need, what you don't, and even just understand what the heck they are. So if you're here with me live, please say hello in the comments and ask any questions that you have as we go along. I will do my very, very best to answer them. If you see me going up on my tiptoes like this, it's because I'm trying to look at my Instagram screen for all of you viewers over there. I got you wherever you are. I got you. If you're listening via podcast later, hello. So let's see. Lisa's here and Deirdre's here. Hey, Deirdre. And Vicky and Tamara and Charisma. All right. Lori's here. I'm so glad you guys could make it today because I know you have questions. So let me start off by saying, when it comes to the tech tools that you need in your business, and today we're not talking so much about hardware, although if you have questions about hardware, I'm happy to answer them towards the end. You know, hardware would be things like your computer, your headset, your microphone, your, whatever, like actual hardware pieces. So we're talking more about software and tools that exist online for us as health coaches, and there are so many. And so I'll start by saying they fall into two main categories. So I want you to think about your business like this. If you ran, like I used to work in advertising, and an entire business would be split up into departments, right? So one department would be the marketing department, and you have a marketing department in your business as well, even if your business is very, very small. So your marketing department is all about client acquisition. Your marketing department handles reaching new people and turning them into clients, right? And then when someone hits that line where they're like, yeah, I think I'd like to work with you. Oh, well, now that's a whole different department. So now we're talking about actually servicing the clients, actually fulfilling on whatever it is that we are selling. So those are that's the biggest distinction that I want to draw. Some tools are going to help you with your marketing or your client acquisition. Other tools are going to help you with your client management, your client services, right? Actually doing the work and doing it well. And then there are a couple tools that kind of fall in between. So we're going to start off today with some questions that I have seen inside of our Facebook group, and hit me up with anything as we go along. I'm sure there are tools I'm not even going to mention because I'm going to forget about them. So I'm happy to hear what you guys are looking at, paying for, not wanting to pay for, and kind of tell you where they fall and whether or not you need them and how to kind of know whether or not you need them. The secret is you actually need much, much less to run a health coaching business than you think. And I think some of the confusion comes in because you are able to see the work that I am doing. You are able to see the work that other prominent health coaches are doing. And when they are prominent and when they have successful larger businesses, they are using more complicated, more expensive tools. What you are not seeing are perhaps your peers who are successful, but at a smaller level. You know, they're still growing, and there are certain tools and certain ways that their businesses are set up that are more appropriate in the earlier stages, but you may not be seeing that. So that's what I want to illuminate today for you. Here's a question that came from Natasha. Natasha said, I am looking at a platform on which to run a group coaching program, different groups on different days. I need to be able to take payments, registrations, sign waivers, send documents, and run a course with videos. So far, does that sound to you like marketing? Or does that sound like client management? Just think in your head. I'll reveal the answer in a second. Natasha went on to say, I also need something through which I can send automated newsletters and sales funnels. All the tech is so confusing to me. Looking for something not too complicated or a couple of platforms that will integrate with each other easily. So the first thing that Natasha is asking for, payment, registrations, waivers, videos, right? All of this stuff has to do with servicing a client who has already signed up to work with you, or who is about to sign up and work with you in the case of payment, right? So all that has to do with client management. So my suggestion to Natasha, and we already talked about this a little bit, was that Practice Better is a fantastic tool for all of that stuff, including the online courses, including being able to upload videos, including all your payments and all your scheduling and all that kind of jazz. So for perhaps the 5 zillionth time, I am mentioning Practice Better because it's just that powerful of a tool. And if you want to try it and save 30% off your first 3 months, you can go to healthcoachpower.com/practice and use code HCPOWER and the number 30. Okay, so Practice Better is going to handle all of those things that Natasha was talking about all in one. You could do it with many different tools, right? You could send a PayPal invoice. You could send waivers using some sort of PDF or a DocuSign type thing. You can piecemeal it. However, I have found Practice Better really takes care of everything, and it's a reasonable price considering the work that it does. It's like a real workhorse in your business. So you don't necessarily need it, but I did clarify with Natasha. I said, are you just starting out? Like, how many clients do you really have? Are you at the point where you need a tool to help you with this? Would you be better served doing it the free and cheap way, like I just described? And she is at a more advanced stage in her business. So I said, okay, forget doing the PayPal invoices, forget using, a free Calendly account to schedule it. Once you're dealing with, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 clients or something like that, it's too much to do manually. You really do need a tool that automates stuff for you. So she's there. However, if you are a brand new coach and you're thinking, well, I also need help with taking payments, and I also would like to be able to send waivers, you can do all of that for free. You don't need Practice Better yet, although they do have a free level of their account just so you can check it out. You can do all of those things sort of the more manual way using, piecemeal, one tool here, one tool there. So don't get yourself in a position where you're paying for these tools that you don't need. Because if you're not earning money, you don't want to be spending money, right? And when you get to like a tipping point where you no longer can handle it manually, that's when it's a really smart idea to hop over. And for any tool at any level of your business, you're like, oh, I think this is when I need the next level. Like it's actually holding me back now that I don't have this tool. And that's when you're ready. So that's the first step for Natasha. Then she says, I also need something through which I can send automated newsletters and sales funnels, which sounds really complicated, but all an automated newsletter is and a sales funnel is, that's just emails. That's all. That's really all it is. You just need emails. So for your email service, Natasha, you can use Mailchimp. You can use ConvertKit. You can use, a lot of you are using Flowdesk. I happen to use ActiveCampaign, which is a little bit more pricey and a little bit more robust in terms of what it can do. Again, choose a tool that meets your needs now at a price point that meets your needs now, and then you can always upgrade or change later. So again, when you guys hear things like automated newsletters, sales funnels, like this just means you're sending out emails. That's it. And if you want to do it automated, you might not be able to do it with a free Mailchimp account. They only let you send maybe one automated email, but you can't send a whole series. So, but any email tool that you are paying for, and you'll probably be paying something like $20 or $30 a month tops, is going to let you do that. It's no more complicated than that. So Natasha, hopefully that will meet your needs. Now, in terms of integrating with each other easily, there are not too many cases where you need Practice Better to actually integrate with your email service provider, which is your Mailchimp or your ConvertKit or your Flowdesk. But I'm sure that they can be integrated. And the best way to find out is to ask them, can I integrate with X platform that I am using? Sometimes it's very easy. Sometimes you have to use an intermediary tool called Zapier. I don't even know how you pronounce it. It's Zapier. And that to me gets a little too nerdy. Like at that point, when I need a third-party integration, I'm like, yeah, no thanks. Maybe I don't need to do this. Or that's when I'm asking my assistant to help me. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't even try. Don't worry about it. You probably don't need it to integrate at all, because once you have your clients that are now paying you inside Practice Better, you can communicate with them through Practice Better, and you're no longer relying on an email service to do it. So do you understand? These are two separate sides of your business, and you can think of them like different departments, and it's okay if they use different tools sometimes. Make sense? Tara's saying, FYI, Flowdesk has super discounted rate for their beta version for just another week or so. Okay, so for all of you that are listening and watching today, if you need an email service provider, you can check out Flowdesk. I have not used it personally, but I have seen members of Healthy Profit University use it, and seems pretty good from what I can tell. Nicole says, I just started using Practice Better on the free Sprouts level. I'm still learning the platform, and I wanted to know if I should keep my Zoom and Mailchimp platforms. Yes, absolutely keep your Mailchimp platform, because again, Mailchimp is for marketing. Practice Better is for actually servicing your clients and managing your clients. As for Zoom, you can use the built-in video chat feature within Practice Better for your sessions, but like, think of all the other times that you want to use Zoom. I use Zoom like way too much. I'm using it right now to record this. I used it earlier today to record a podcast interview that I'm going to release later in the year. You use Zoom for all kinds of meetings. So you probably are going to want to keep your Zoom account, because you're just going to use it for so many things that are actually unrelated to managing or servicing your clients directly. Now, could you get away with a free Zoom account? Maybe. I forget what the restriction is. Is it still only 45 minutes, or do they let you do an hour? You're also going to want to use Zoom if you're going to hold any kind of webinar in your business. Again, this would be marketing. This would be like a webinar for you to help build your mailing list, or some sort of online workshop or something that you're doing. So Zoom actually does so many different things. I almost feel like it's a household utility these days. It's not even a business tool. Everybody just has to have Zoom. So I wouldn't actually get rid of either of those, Nicole. I hope that helps. Okay, let's move on. I'm just seeing if Instagram has any questions for me. I'm not seeing any, but I see you guys over there, and thanks for tuning in. Here's a question that I have from Tanya. So Tanya said, I am an IIN student. I want to use Practice Better. Does anyone use this along with the IIN biz? I'm confused if I should just do my website with a private builder and hoster so I can implement Practice Better and be able to link social media and blog and scheduling for Massage and Mailchimp. Massage and Mailchimp. I'm wondering if she meant messages and Mailchimp. But anyway, any advice appreciated, she says. Okay, Tanya, a couple of things going on here. Let's sort through it. Number one, IIN biz. I have never used it. I'm not even entirely sure what it is. I think it's like a done for you platform for like your website and stuff, with a lot of like pre-programmed content for your social media and your emails. I say to that, you want to be creating content. That's how you're going to connect with people, using pre-made, done for you stuff put out by IIN that literally like every other health coach from IIN has access to. It's not going to help you stand out. It's not going to help you find your voice. It's not going to advance your business. That's my opinion. I'll tell you what I actually see in practice, which in our Health Coach Power Community Facebook group, we have over 11,000 coaches in there. This topic comes up a lot. And every single time, coaches will chime in and say how much they hate the IIN Biz account. I'm not trying to, poop on anything here, but these are the facts. So I'm gonna just have to say, Tanya, this might be something to walk away from. Sounds like a good idea when you get like an all-in-done marketing platform or something like that. But more often than not, that's sort of feeding into your insecurities when you're starting out. You're actually going to be much better served building a website, writing your social media posts yourself, because then it's going to represent you and your business. Almost makes too much sense, right? So let's toss the IIN Biz conversation right now, because again, I'm not even that well versed in it, I'll be honest. But what I think you're saying is that you wanted to be using that for your website. So let's talk about a website. Is a website marketing, or is a website for client management? In most cases, in almost all cases, your website is for marketing. The only time that it would be for client management is if you have a login built into your website and you have like a member area built into your website, in which case your website would be doing both functions. But especially when you're first starting out, your website is for your marketing. So there are a lot of different ways that you can build a website. And I'm going to preface this by saying, if you are still in school, you don't need any of them. You do not need a website yet. I could give you a list yay long of things that you could be doing to advance your practice, and none of them have to do with a website. A website is going to be putting the cart before the horse. I've said it before and I will say it again. So Tanya, please set aside the website for now, although I will come back to this topic. And instead, please start your mailing list. And if any of you need help starting your mailing list, you can get a walkthrough, a step-by-step walkthrough of how to do it. If you go to healthcoachpower.com/mailing list, you can go click, click, click and follow along step-by-step as I help you set up your mailing list from scratch. That's going to serve you so much better than any website that you can create. I feel like a broken record. I say this so often. Okay, what else here? She wants to be able to use Practice Better. Tanya, do you have clients? If you are not working with clients yet, don't worry about Practice Better. If you're only working with 1 or 2 clients, don't worry about Practice Better. If you have more than a handful of clients and it continues to grow, okay, maybe start in with Practice Better. When I dipped my toe into Practice Better, I was a bit overwhelmed because it's a very robust tool and it's an excellent tool. But of course, there's going to be a learning curve. So at first, I only used it for scheduling. That's it, even though it has so many other functions. And then once I figured that out and I was very comfortable with scheduling, then I started using it for payment. Okay, and then once that felt comfortable and I figured out how to do like payment plans and all the different things, and I'm talking like over a period of months, then I started using, the next feature and the next feature. And that's what I would recommend. Dip your toe in, use it for what you need. Maybe you can get away with using the free Sprout plan for now, so you can learn it little by little with 1 or 2 clients that you're working with. Again, you do not need Practice Better to integrate with your website. I have a multi-6-figure business. My Practice Better account lives over here and my website lives over here, and they actually are not connected at all. So you might be complicating matters by trying to do that. Yes, of course you could, but you don't have to. And I haven't actually seen any benefit to doing it. So just take a few things off your plate, right? Tanya, you don't need the website right now. You probably don't need Practice Better. At least you don't need to be integrating it with anything. But what you definitely need is a mailing list. So please set that up now. It's going to serve you very, very well. Okay, let's see what other comments we have here. Vicky says, what's the difference between a landing page versus a website? Oh, Vicky, thank you for bringing me back to the website conversation. Website, marketing. Website, don't need it right away. Really don't. Expensive, time consuming, big project, right? It's going to force you to not do all these other things that you could be doing to move your business forward. When you get around to building a website, there's WordPress, there's Squarespace, there's Wix, there's like 5 million other things that you could use. To me, those are like the big 3 for health coaches, for entrepreneurs in our world, in our industry. WordPress is the most advanced in a sense. It often requires getting some help. Unless you are extremely tech savvy, it's not the kind of thing that you're probably going to just be able to go to wordpress.com and start right now and understand the whole thing from the get-go. You might. It is the most flexible. It will grow with you indefinitely. My website runs on WordPress. That being said, I always hire help in designing and running my website. Something that is easier to pick up and easier to do yourself without professional help would be like Wix or Squarespace. You can also hire help with these, but they're less complex tools. They will do a lot for you. They will probably serve your purposes for a very long time. They don't have quite the capabilities that WordPress does, but they're great. They're all great, right? So any of those will do. Now, what is a website? It's for your marketing. We know that, right? Someone wants to check you out. They might go check out, look at your website, see what you're all about. We hope that somebody searches online and finds our website. Highly unlikely though, especially when you're first starting out. Think of how many health coaches there are out there and how many different health websites there are. Somebody types in like healthy eating for moms or something. What are the chances they're going to find yours? Very, very low. So you don't think that Google is going to work for you in the beginning. It takes years. It takes having a very smart website and lots of good content to get that SEO traction, that search engine optimization traction. So in essence, your website is more or less an online business card at this point. Years ago, people thought of it differently, right? But now with so much on social media, and we have YouTube, and we have, Facebook groups, now your website really does act like an online business card. So an expensive one at that. A website is just a bunch of web pages that are linked to each other. That's really all a website is, right? There's some sort of directory. We usually don't think of it as directory. We think of it as a home page or a navigation bar, but it's basically a directory that helps people get to the different pages that you have all linked together, that live together, and that's your website. So to answer your question, Vicki, what's the difference between a landing page and a website? A website is many pages. A landing page is one page. And a landing page usually only has one function. So going back to Tanya, I told Tanya she has to set up her mailing list, right? That goes for all of you. When you set up your mailing list with Mailchimp, with ConvertKit, with whatever tool you're using, you're also going to be able to create landing pages. And those landing pages are intended to help you collect names for your mailing list. That's why it's part of the email service provider, right? Your landing pages are generally simple. They're going to have one call to action, one thing that you do on them. A landing page is not a blog post. A landing page is not like a list of your favorite things. A landing page is usually like, download my free such and such, click here. That's what a landing page does. There are other types of landing pages. You could have a single page that says, website coming soon, right? Like before your website gets built, maybe you bought the domain, but you haven't built the site yet. You have one page, you have one landing page that might be your coming soon page. Sometimes you'll have a landing page that acts as a wait list. So you have a program or whatever it is that you're doing, even if your website's not built yet, you could have a landing page that says, coming soon. If you're interested, enter your email address here. And so you're capturing names in some type of wait list. That can also be a use of a landing page. I use landing pages for webinar replays. When all you want someone to do on this page is watch a replay of your webinar and maybe click a button to buy something, that's a landing page. None of that goes on my website. That's all housed on just individual landing pages. And to that, I will say there are further marketing tools that you can create those. So for the most simple landing pages, you will use Mailchimp or ConvertKit or Flowdesk, right? Your email service provider. For all those other types of landing pages I was just explaining to you, whenever you just need a one-off page, I use a tool called Lead Pages. And there are others like this, but I have used Lead Pages for years and years and years. And honestly, my whole website could go in the toilet tomorrow and I would make just as much money and my business would do fine because of my lead pages. So I have many landing pages that perform lots of functions in my business. That tool does come at a cost. I don't remember exactly how much, a couple $100 a year, I think. But that's been a really good investment for me. So if you don't, especially if you don't have a website yet, or even if you do, but you're offering lots of freebies, you're doing lots of events, you often need a one-off landing page to get people signed up for something, you might want to look into Lead Pages. And for that, you can get a free 14-day trial if you go to healthcoachpower.com/leadpages. And 14 days will allow you to kind of mess around with the tool and better understand how it works and how you might use it in your own business. Okay, Lisa is chiming in about IIN Biz. Lisa clearly has more experience with this than I do. She says IIN Biz is pre-created content. It's a bit outdated, to be honest. Sharon says IIN Biz connects with Synduit. I have no idea what Synduit is. That's not a tool I have come across. Nicole says I'm on a free trial of IIN Biz and I'm using it to offer free webinars. Okay. You can offer free webinars also on Zoom. Just saying. Christy says, that is so helpful. I've been stuck and overwhelmed by Practice Better for months. I know it is any new tool, like I said, whether it's like your new WordPress website, your new Practice Better account, like any complex tool that you're going to start using in your business, it stinks because you have to learn it. But really just take it like a little bit at a time is how I ever make any headway with any new tool. And I'm not one to jump to a new tool easily because there is always this learning curve involved. Lisa says, Squarespace is so easy, very professional and polished and user-friendly. I agree. Olga says, how do you keep track of all the multiple landing pages? So Olga, again, inside of whatever you're using to create your landing pages, if you're using Mailchimp, let's say, and you have, you're offering a free 5-day challenge and you're offering maybe a free download, or maybe you have 5 different downloads that you're offering at some point in your business, Mailchimp's going to have a list of all your different pages, and you'll be able to see how many people have opted in, what percentage of visitors to the page have opted in. All that information is available to you. So this way, you know what's working, what's not, and when you need it, right? Like, let's say you have a freebie about intermittent fasting and you're having a little back and forth with somebody on Instagram about intermittent fasting. You could say, I have just the thing for you. I have a free resource about this. Do you want it? And they say, yes. Boom, you send them the link to your intermittent fasting freebie. There's a million ways that you could promote it. But I like, I sort of have a treasure trove of all these different landing pages, and I use them as needed. Now, again, I create mine using lead pages, and inside lead pages, if I showed you the inside of my lead pages account, you would see I have like zillions and zillions that I have to search for the one that I need. Okay, what else do we have here? Lisa says, Mailchimp keeps track of your landing pages. Yes, exactly, which is so awesome. HPU helped me with the step-by-step, and now it's so easy to create. Yes, Lisa, remember when you were creating your first landing page? That's where our fast trackers are right now. And I know a lot of them are like, how does this work? But once you learn the tool, then you can just bang them out. I can create a landing page in like 30 minutes because I'll take one of my old ones, duplicate it, change some words, swap out a picture, boom, it's done. Vicky's saying, thanks. If my focus is prenatal, postpartum, would they have content around something like this, or are they more generalized content? And I think you're talking about IIN Biz. Again, whenever you're getting pre-made, done for you content, it's going to be generic. And that is the big downfall. Even if you're servicing a more generic target market, meaning like you're just like helping women to lose weight or something that's a little more generic than prenatal or postnatal health, you are not generic. Your voice, your personality, that's what makes your marketing effective. And so copying and pasting or using something pre-made, again, I'm really not a big fan of that. Okay, I got another question here that I want to cover before we wrap for today. But again, if you have any other questions, throw them in there and I'll try to do 1 or 2 more. This one is from Tara. Tara said, advice needed. I'm starting a weekly blog and I'm wondering which site to use that's free and aesthetically pleasing and easy to use. So a blog, what is a blog? A blog is just a feature that a website can have. So you can have a website that doesn't have a blog. You can have a website that does have a blog, but you can't have a blog without a website of some kind, because a blog is essentially a lot of pages. Each page is a blog post, and then they're all connected. You're going to land on some sort of homepage for the blog, or some sort of index or directory for the blog, and then you can choose, which article you want to read. So you can add a blog feature to a WordPress site, a Squarespace site, a Wix site. There are countless others, but like I said, I think those are the top 3 that you're going to want to choose between, and they're all going to be fine. Many of them have free versions, like you can get started with a WordPress.com site for free, although you may want to upgrade. And as for it being aesthetically pleasing, that's going to have a lot to do with the theme that you choose and what you do with it. Once again, my fast trackers right now are in the middle of designing landing pages, which is kind of similar. You have to pick a theme for the page on the screen. And you can be like, wow, I am not a graphic designer. I am not a web designer. So this is something to either hire, get some help with, or I would suggest just go simple. Because when you start getting fancy and you're like, I'm gonna use purple and red and this font and that font, oh, and some blue, and then like this pattern, that's where it gets messy and unprofessional. So if you don't know much about design, keep it simple. White background, black text. Like you might think it looks boring, but it's way better and more professional to look boring than to be looking like it just came out of a clown car. Take it from me. Let's see what other kind of questions we have here, because I feel like we are on a roll today, my friends. Jennifer says, can I join the free part at Practice Better today, then use your code later for the discount? Or do I need to join using your code now? I only have a few clients. I'm not sure about that, Jennifer. What I would do is use the link, healthcoachpower.com/practice. Enter the code if you're asked for it, but sign up for the free account, because what usually happens is you get cookied in the system as having come from me. So when you upgrade in a month or two or whatever, it should apply. If that doesn't work, contact them. We have a great relationship with Practice Better. They are awesome over there. Their support desk is amazing. So reach out to them. They're going to want you to upgrade, right? So they're going to help you make that happen. Dee says, I signed up for the ConvertKit trial, but it expires in a few days and I don't yet have a significant email list yet. Not sure what to do. Dee, I am pretty sure that ConvertKit has a free, am I wrong? An ongoing free account with, of course, limited capabilities. I might be wrong about that, but please double check. It's funny because these tools change so much. Their pricing structure changes, the different features that they offer change, hopefully for the better. But sometimes they pull back. Sometimes they offer a lot for free in the beginning and then they pull back. They don't offer as much for free. And we'll do one more. Tara says, thoughts on a vlog versus a blog? I know you have shared about recording on video, then turning it into a podcast and transcript conversion for a blog. Tara, you have been paying attention. Okay. So again, a blog is just a feature of a website. It allows you to have an index of all your different entries, and your entries could be something typed, just a written blog post. Your entries in a blog could include a video. Your entries in a blog, on your website could include audio. If you go to healthcoachpower.com/podcast, you will see that every single one of these podcast episodes live on my website. And there's a video version, an audio version, and a transcript. And that becomes, in essence, a blog post because it is one page within this blog feature, right? And there's an index and you can go, and find what you need from within it. So if you're going to include video on your blog, awesome. If you like to do video, great, because then there's that added benefit of being able to publish your video to YouTube, use clips of it on social media. And I feel like recording video has become much, much easier in the past couple of years because they sell things like a ring light for like $30 and you can record using your phone or whatever. There are excellent cameras on all of our devices these days, so you don't have to purchase anything separate. So if you like being on video, or if you want to practice being on video, I would say definitely go for it, but don't feel like you have to have video necessarily for every single one of your blog posts. Just try it out once or twice. Can't hurt. Maria says, this is helpful stuff. Thanks. I sure hope it has been. Before we go, I'm going to say one more thing, and then I swear we're done. So today we talked about your marketing tools, and that would be your email service provider, your website that may or may not have a blog, landing pages that may come with your email service provider, or you may create using a different service like I do on Lead Pages. Services like ClickFunnels, which is sort of a competitor of Lead Pages. Then there's also social media schedulers. We didn't even get into that today, but schedulers like Lately or Hootsuite, there's a whole bunch of them. Buffer, all marketing. Client acquisition. Okay, over here, servicing our clients, managing our clients, fulfilling on what we need to do with our clients. We've practiced better, top of the list. Then we have schedulers, which you can do for free, Calendly. Acuity, right? These things have free accounts. Everybody should have these. I mean, like literally everybody. I was taking dance lessons with someone and it was so hard to schedule with her because she didn't have an online scheduler. Calendly, hook it up. It'll take you 10 minutes to figure out. We need a way to collect payment, right? So that someone can become a client. That can be as simple as a PayPal account where you're sending a PayPal invoice or a PayPal request. You could also use Stripe. You usually don't have to use Stripe unless you're using a more, like if you're using Practice Better, you would need Stripe as a payment processor because they work together. But if you're not at that level yet, PayPal is fine. The cost of doing business is the fee that comes with using any payment processor. Just like when you use a credit card at the grocery store, right? They pay a fee on that. That's the cost of doing business. And then if you are offering like a larger scale online course, again, to your paying clients, someone you have already acquired over here, and now they are signing up and joining you maybe with a big online course, that's when you might use something like Thinkific or Teachable or Teachery, or there's so many of these member sites. Those are costing like hundreds of dollars a month. Those are pretty pricey. Many of you are not at that point yet. Now in the middle, there are a couple of tools that are both for marketing and for servicing your clients. Completely optional. So one that comes to mind is Kajabi. Kajabi is sort of this all-in-one tool, and there are others like this. Expensive. It's going to be your email service provider on the marketing side. It's going to provide landing pages for you on the marketing side. It also acts as a course platform on your client management side. So that's an all-in-one tool. I am not a fan. We'll talk about that another time, but those exist. Another tool that sits squarely in the middle that nobody brought up today is Fat Clean Life, which is such a cool tool. And if you guys want to check that out, it's healthcoachpower.com/TCL, which stands for That Clean Life. It's a very cool tool that helps you create meal plans, sample meal planning, recipe books, all recipes that you can use for free as your own, that you are essentially buying a license to use them. So That Clean Life can work for your marketing because you can give away recipe books for free in order to build your mailing list, for example. But you might also be creating some type of sample meal plans or recipe books as part of your paid programs and services. So That Clean Life does sit in the middle. And for those of you that are doing a lot with specific diets and dietary needs, it can be an extremely useful tool. I've used it. Many of our members have used it. It is like, mwah, but you don't necessarily need it. It depends on what you're doing in your business. Thanks for joining me today, you guys. If you have more questions about tech tools that you need in your business, you can always ask inside our Facebook group at healthcoachpowercommunity.com. And I want to remind you that I have just updated my training on how to turn health coaching into a full-time salary. Hint, that requires you not spending all your money on tools. That requires you worrying less about your website and more about income generating activity. Anyway, it's a quick training. It's 28 minutes and you can get it at healthcoachpower.com/earn, EARN. I will see you next week, everybody. Take care.